Put the hip shit on the shelf, cause the way the real rappers being real was hell. My eyes can see the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up, put the hip shit on the shelf, cause the way the real rappers being real was hell. My eyes can see the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. Money, money, money. All you got is not being wealthy. I know you like Kanye West says, having money is not everything, not having it is. No, Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives us the ability to create wealth. No, it's the love of money that's the world. You don't like money so much, why you get up and go to work? Yeah, trying to do it about one of the things that you think about. I'm just trying to leave a legacy for money. It's not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. And now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial health mentor to the working class, Mr. H Cortez.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Talking Money in the Morning Live. I am your main man, H Cortez, financial health mentor to the working class, coming to you this morning from the Black Real Estate School studios here in St. Louis, Missouri. Guys, if you are serious about getting into the real estate game, then you want to check out the Black Real Estate School. It's my man, Andre Hatchett. Go to blackrealestate.financialhealthmentor.com. And you can literally learn from some of the best in all of the various disciplines of real estate, not just flipping, not just buying whole, not just multifamilies. We're talking about tax liens, foreclosures, wherever the game is for you in real estate. Andre Hatchett either has done it and is very good at it, or he brings on professionals in that space, wholesaling, whatever it is, to teach you how to do that to the best of your ability. So if you're serious about real estate investing, then why don't you go and learn from some of the best? Go to blackrealestate.financialhealthmentor.com to learn more about the Black Real Estate School. And once you enroll over there, I'm telling you, the brother knows the stuff. Andre got his first piece of real estate when he was 22 years old, and has been investing in real estate ever since. So knows this stuff. So if you're serious about that, then check out the Black Real Estate School at blackrealestate.financialhealthmentor.com. And when you go join that school over there, you're actually supporting the show, and make sure you tell them that the Financial Health Mentor sent you, right? So do me a huge favor. You're checking us out on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And then grab the link and share it on your favorite social media platform, whether it's LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you like to share stuff. Share the stuff on those platforms. And then do the same thing for me, guys, on Facebook. Go ahead and share the stream into your share it on your timeline, share it into a group, share it into somebody's inbox, share it on somebody's page. Let's get this information out. We're talking about the mental laws of success this morning. So those of you who don't know me, this is Talking Money in the Morning Live with H Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the working class, where I do my absolute best to bring practical, proven wealth building strategies to working men and women all over this great nation of ours. And just in case you stumbled upon this show on accident, let me tell you exactly who this show is for. This show is for risers and grinders only, man. You got to be ready to get up, get out, and get something in this economy, man. And if that's you, this is your show. This show is for legacy builders. If you're hustling for your last name instead of your first name, then this is your show. If you are like me, every night I lay down, man, I start thinking about what am I going to do tomorrow, the next day, the day after that, to make sure that my children's children will be proud to bear my last name, then this is your show. If you are the type of person that you know deep down inside, you got it in you to build wealth, you got it in you to create this legacy, you got it in you to be special, to leave a mark on this planet and not just sustain, but maybe you need a game plan, a coach, a mentor, a team, some strategy, some help, then this is your show, because that's what we bring to you each and every morning. Now, on the other hand, who is the show not for? The show is not for bump on the logs. The show is not for those who are not willing to make a move. You know, we all know people who are in that permanent mannequin challenge, just won't make a move. This ain't your show, man. This is not your show. This ain't your show if you got a problem with the word money. You think wealthy people are snobs. You think capitalism is evil. this ain't your show, man, because you have a mindset that will not allow you to attract money, prosperity, happiness, joy, peace, abundance into your life, right? So if that's you, this is not your show. But like I tell you each and every morning, I don't have a problem with you not wanting to be wealthy. I have a problem with you when you have a problem with me wanting to be wealthy. It's your prerogative to want to be average or below average or to be content with where you have what you have. It's my prerogative to want to shoot for the stars. And that's me. And if you've never seen a future billionaire before, then I want you to take a screenshot, cheese, and then hold me to it and watch me work over the next 5 to 10 years. But instead of watching me work from a sideline, what I advise you to do is get in the game with me. Because there's not a billionaire on this planet that has gotten to that level without helping others become billionaires, mega millionaires, decamillionaires, and so on and so forth. So today we're talking about mental laws. What are mental laws? And I'm going to give you the resource, guys. Here's the resource: Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice by Dr. Dennis Kimbro. Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice by Dr. Dennis Kimbro is the resource for this, right? So he lists 8 mental laws, and we're going to elaborate on a couple today. Maybe we'll get to 2 or 3, and then we'll do the same thing throughout the rest of the week until we get to all 8 of them. So I'll list all 8. We'll start elaborating on them going down the line, and then hopefully we can wrap the whole series up by Thursday, because you know Fridays we do question and answers, free game Friday. So let's just say take a look at what he lists as what mental laws is. Said these spiritual principles exist on a grand cosmic scale and rule over our mental well-being. All that is good, all that is bountiful and worthwhile emanates from the successful application of mental laws. They are the very infrastructure of life. I'm gonna read it one more time. These spiritual principles exist on a grand cosmic scale and rule over our mental well-being. All that is good, all that is bountiful, and all that is worthwhile emanates from the successful application of mental laws. They are the very infrastructure of life, right? Now, he said all things that are good, all things that are bountiful come from the successful application. Well, we know by default then, if we are unsuccessful at applying these mental laws, then what can we anticipate? If he said all things that are good, all things that are bountiful and worthwhile comes from the successful application, then on the flip side, if you don't apply these things successfully, then chances are you're not going to have things that are bountiful or worthwhile or good, right? See, just like there are laws of physics that govern the physical world, these mental laws govern the unseen. And why are we harping on this? Why is this so important for you to know? Because everything that exists on this planet, on this plane, was created 3 times. Everything that exists in the physical world was created 3 times. What do you mean? First thing, anything was created: the airplane, the cell phone, these buildings, the computers, everything. The first time it was created, it was visualized in somebody's mind. That was the very first time it was created, right? See, because of these mental laws, everything is created 3 times. The first time something was created, it was created in the mind of the person who created it. The second time it was created, it was taken from the mind and put on paper, right? There was a blueprint established. There was some sort of draft, some sort of drawing, some sort of sketch, right? It was put on paper. And then finally, it was taken from paper and built and created or invented into the physical world. So we have to understand that these mental laws of success govern the unseen, right? See, most people who want to be successful, They are looking to something that is tangible, something they can see, touch, something that they can hear, feel, and they're looking for that as a clue or as a measure or as something that they can apply towards success. And that's why a lot of people aren't successful. See, I built a financial education franchise that's built in a network marketing type model. And people want to know, what is the magic thing that you say to get people on your team? There's no magic thing that you say, right? People want to know when you make a lot of money in business, they want to know what was it, the one thing that you actually did? What is your one secret? What is your one trick? There's no one secret. There's no one trick. There is a lifestyle of applying mental laws. There's a lifestyle of applying mental laws, right? So mental laws are these things that govern the unseen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read to you right now, excuse me, all 8 of these mental laws, and then we'll go into 1 and 2, possibly 3. We'll see how the conversation goes, what you guys pull out of me. So here are the 8 mental laws. Number 1, what you think upon grows. Or we've heard it said this way: as a man thinketh, so is he. As a woman thinketh, so is she. What you think upon grows. And we went a little in on this yesterday, because I put it this way: you get what you focus on. You get what you focus on. Law number 2, mental law number 2, is the law of cause and effect, right? Cause and effect. We talk about not liking where we are, but we don't realize that there was cause and effect that took place that got us there, right? The law of cause and effect. Number 3, the law of use or lose, right? We talked about a little bit yesterday, why people don't invest in themselves. If you don't use your brain, it actually atrophies. That means it shrinks, right? And that is a law, a mental law of success or failure. Use or lose. All right. Number 4, the law of correspondence. The law of correspondence. Where you are in life corresponds wholeheartedly and equally to the things that you have put out into the universe. Number 5, the law of substitution, right? The law of substitution. No two things can exist in the same place at the same time. You want poverty and lack thinking to leave your brain, then you have to replace it. You have to substitute it with something else, right? So we're going to go ham on that one when we get to it. The law of belief. Guys, you know I'm always talking about belief. We went a little ham on this yesterday. You know the 3 things that I believe, right, among many. But the law of belief is number 6. Number 7, you guys are familiar with this because it was all over the place with The Secret. We're talking about the law of attraction. The law of attraction. These are mental laws. These are unseen, unwritten rules that govern the entire universe, right? And then the law of compensation is number 8. So let me read them real quick. Number 1, what you think upon grows. Number 2, law of cause and effect. Number 3, use or lose. Number 4, law of correspondence. Number 5, law of substitution. Number 6, law of belief. Number 7, law of attraction. Number 8, law of compensation. Just like there are physical laws of physics that govern the physical realm, there are mental laws that govern the unseen realm. And people who want success but don't understand these mental laws will never attain success because they're looking for something tangible, right? What did you say to get that person to join your team, man? What did you say to close that sale? What did you do to get that person to like you? What are you doing to get all of these customers coming to your store? Right? They're looking for something physical so that they can touch it and grab it and duplicate it, but it's nothing physical. These are mental laws. Success is a mental thing. And that's what unsuccessful people are missing. right? They pick up a book and they want to read the book and they say, give me something that I can apply. I just need to do something. Give me some action steps to take. I'm giving you the action steps to take right now to be successful. Starts with how you think. Those are the action steps. When you want to be successful, you have to apply these mental laws. What did it say? All things that are good, all things that are bountiful, all things that are worthwhile emanate from these laws, these principles, right? So in other words, if you are going to have success in your life, you have to become the embodiment of these mental laws. They have to be in you and they have to protrude out of you, and then success cometh. That's why when you talk about, when you ask somebody who's successful, you ask them, what have they done to be successful and how did they attain their success? It's always hard for them to explain it. It's always hard for them to explain it because they can't put a finger on it, because there was no one thing. They started to apply these mental laws. These mental laws became a part of them. So when you ask me, how can I do a lot of things? I can give you the action steps, but the action steps aren't what made me successful. I took the action steps because of mental laws that are in me that I abide by. That's where success is coming from. So one person can ask me, give me the steps that you took to succeed. I give them the steps. They take the steps just like I told them to take it, and they don't get the same results. Why? Because they forgot or they didn't apply the precursor, which is the mental laws. They're not abiding by the mental laws that govern success and failure. So you can ask a person for their strategy, for their tips, for their game plan. I can sell you a program, I can teach you, and I can train you, and I can educate you. But if I do not first help you to understand these mental laws, and you never understand them on your own, the success that you have, if you have any at all, will be extremely limited. Because you got to know these things that govern the unseen. Just like I know that even though I can't see gravity, I know I'm not going to go on the top of this building and walk off and think I'm going to do anything other than fall. So when you understand the mental laws, then you have to literally start moving your life in a way and doing things in the unseen as you're making and taking daily actions in the seen. And they both have to be concurrent. They both have to be congruent. You have to be doing them both simultaneously. Yes, I do certain things in my business every single day. But there's a certain way I think about my business. There's a certain way I think about myself. There's a certain way that I believe about myself. There are certain things that I know to do. There's certain things that I'm doing on a regular basis that I don't even realize I'm doing. I'm doing them on autopilot because these mental laws are a part of me. And when you get these mental laws to become a part of you, now the action steps that you're taking actions in the physical realm that are governed by the mental laws and the unseen. Now you start to get what you want, right? So we talked about the law of gravity, right? The law of gravity is in me. I know I can't fly. So when I'm on a high place, I'm automatically conscious of the things I need to be aware of so I don't fall to my death, right? Well, guess what? When you get these mental laws in you and you start to operate in your business, you start to operate in your personal relationships, you start to operate as a parent, as a friend, as a son, as an uncle, as a father, you start to operate in your life. These mental things, when you start to go a certain way, you start to lean one way or the other, these mental laws will pull you back into alignment, right? So we're going to get into mental law number one, but first, it is 20 after the hour, so we go over our daily quote or our daily proverb. And our daily proverb says this: we are all a little broken. We are all a little broken. but the last time I checked, broken crayons still color. It's from an unknown author. We are all a little broken, but the last time I checked, broken crayons still color. I want you guys to think about that, because as we get into mental law number one, you're going to see that mental law number one says, what you think upon grows. Some of us are focused so intently on the brokenness that we are, that we don't realize that even in our broken state, we are great. Some of us are so focused on the little bit of brokenness that we are, that we don't realize that even in our broken state, we're still great. Even in our broken state, we can accomplish great things. In fact, when you start to understand these mental laws, it is because of our broken states that we can accomplish great things. It's in spite of our broken state that we will accomplish great things. So today's daily proverb is brought to you by Solid Foundation Athletic Academy here in St. Louis, Missouri. If you have young athletes that are ready to take their game to another level and they're ready to start training like a pro, then you need to have them check out solidfoundationathletics.com. solidfoundationathletics.com, or you can go over to the fan page, Solid Foundation Athletic Academy, give them a like, tell them the Financial Health Mentor sent you, and give them some words of encouragement. Again, if you're in the St. Louis area, you can go check them out. They've got some videos up there that shows you a little bit about how they train. But if you want your child or your young athlete to get bigger, stronger, faster, more athletic, create a solid foundation of athleticism, then Solid Foundation Athletic Academy is the place. Give them a call at 314-874-6887. So we're talking about these mental laws. So we're coming from a study of Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice by Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. So law number one, what you think upon grows. There's a great idea that you will encounter again and again in your quest for personal fulfillment. You are a living magnet, constantly drawing to you the things, people, and circumstances that are in accord with your thoughts. In other words, you are where you are in experience, in relationships, even in financial conditions, because of your thoughts. I'll read it one more time. There is the great idea that you will encounter again and again in your quest for personal fulfillment. You are a living magnet, constantly drawing to you the things, people, and circumstances that are in accord with your thoughts. In other words, you are where you are in experience and relationship, even in financial conditions, because what you are in thought. Law number one, as a man thinketh, right? As a woman thinketh. What you think upon grows. Or I like to say it like this: you get what you focused on. What are you guys focused on today? A lot of people are asking me, why do I focus on wealth so much? Because I'm going to get what I focus on, right? Most people can't see that I don't focus on money, I focus on wealth. Wealth is an abundance of resources. Money is just one resource. Wealth is having an abundance of resources, right? So I want an abundance of money, but I also want an abundance of joy, which is another resource. I also want an abundance of peace, which is a resource. I also want an abundance of happiness, which is a resource. I want an abundance of relationships, which is a resource. I want an abundance of creativity and imagination, which is a resource. You get what you focus on, right? We are living magnets. So if you are extremely positive, and I know we've heard it said time and time again that opposites attract, that's not true. At the core of your being, you're going to attract someone to you who are the type of person that you think on the most. right? So you're attracting things, people, relationships into your life according to how you think, right? So I learned that a saying a long ago is that when you really think about it, if you whatever you think about becomes words that protrude from your mouth, right? Your words become actions. Your actions become habits. Your habits then form your character, and your character dictates your destiny, right? But all of that stems from your beliefs, right? See, your thought process comes from how you believe. And if you don't have the right belief system about you, about what you think you can have and achieve, about the people around you, then you're going to struggle to attract the right things into your life that's going to help you and propel you into where it is that you want to go and the person that you want to become. You get what you focus on. What are you focused on today? What have you been focused on in the last 5 years? And I guarantee you, you can reach out and touch it right now today. Somebody focused on buying their first home, and they focus intently on that, and they're living in it right now. Somebody focused on being married. They focus, and they're either engaged or married right now. Talk to me if I'm telling a story. You get what you focus on. So if you're having trouble attaining success, I want you to think about whether or not you are intently focused on what you want, or are you scatterbrained? Do you believe that you can have what you want, or are you suffering from self-doubt? Are you saying what you want and at the same time not believing that you can have it, not believing that you deserve it? You get what you focus on. What you think on grows. What you think on grows. So I don't know if you guys know it or not. That song that I play for my intro is a song that I produced almost 20 years ago. Yeah, some of you guys can't imagine H Cortez as a hip hop head, as a lyricist, dread-headed. I was a completely different person. But when we started to put that thing together, even people in our circle kept saying, how are we going to produce an album? Right? And it's not like an album had never been produced at that time. So I'm saying, if other people have produced albums, we are going to figure out how to produce an album, right? It's being done. So there's countless numbers of people that we can go to and ask, people that we can hire to help us get it done. But they didn't realize that the core of us focused on that one thing, that one project, and we focused on it so intently that we brought it into manifestation. Everything that exists in this plane is created 3 times. It's created once in the mind, it's created again on paper, and then it's created in reality. You get what you focus on. Are you focusing on what you want, or are you focusing on what you don't want? I'm gonna say that again because I believe some of y'all missed it. Are you focusing on what you want, or are you focusing on what you don't want? See, a lot of us do just that. We've been taught and trained by the school system that we come up in, and when the teacher hands you your paper and she gives you that paper and your grade, and you got an 85%, you don't focus on the 85% that you got right. You focus on the 15% that you got wrong. Right? So I want to challenge you today. Don't focus on what you don't want. A lot of us are governed by fear, and we have these fears that we won't be successful. We have these fears that we'll never get married. We have these fears that we'll never be able to have children. We have these fears that our business is going to fail. And I don't want my business to fail. I don't want my business to fail. So I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do that. Right. But you're focusing on what you don't want instead of flipping it and focusing on what you do want. My business is successful. So now that gives you a different beat to walk to as you're doing your daily actions. You're focusing on what you do want and not what you don't want. Critically important. So let's get into law number 2. The law cause and effect. And we just kind of just went over that a little bit because that's what it talks about. It is astounding and shocking to see that many thousands of people whose mental machinery keeps delivering to them the very effects they say they do not want. They bewail the idea that they are poor, but that doesn't make them rich. They complain about their aches and pains, but sickness still lingers. They say that nobody likes them, which really means they care for no one. They aren't bold, they aren't aggressive, they aren't ambitious. They are the sum total of their thoughts and actions. Cause and effect is a mental law that never fails. Day by day, you write your own destiny. Thoughts are causes and conditions in your life are effects. If you've ever wanted to know the status of your thoughts, you need only to look at your conditions. If you ever wanted to know the status of your thoughts, you need only look at your conditions. If you ever wanted to know the status of your thoughts, you need only look at your conditions. If you ever want to know the status of your thoughts, you need only look at your conditions. What are you focused on? What are you thinking on? Cause and effect. Cause and effect. This is coming from Donna, Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice by Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. A lot of people don't realize that Dr. Napoleon, the great Napoleon Hill, before he passed, he was 100 pages into a manuscript that was going to be the sequel to Think and Grow Rich. But this time, the first time he studied wealthy white people. The second time he was studying wealthy black people, and that was going to be the sequel. But he passed before he finished that manuscript. That manuscript was given to Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. And this is what became of that manuscript. So Dr. Dennis, Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. And the focus was on wealthy black people because, guys, here's what we got to understand. And we can't allow the media to dictate to us, because whenever we started to put forth a pro-black agenda, they always throw the race card at us. We put out a pro-black agenda simply meaning that we are going to do things based on who we are and the things that we have gone through and had to overcome so that we can have success based on those things. They throw the race card at us. So they make you believe subconsciously that pro-black means anti-white. Pro-black doesn't mean anything. I can love me without hating you. Question is, can they do the same, right? I can love me without hating you. So when we're talking pro-black agendas, they try to make it seem like we're talking about anti-white agendas. When we talk pro-black agendas, they try to make us believe that we're exercising some sort of reverse racism or some sort of reverse prejudice. That's not the case. Don't fall into that trap. The reason we needed a Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice versus the original Think and Grow Rich, because how many of you guys know that black people and white people suffer different things? Black people and white people have different perspectives on life. Black people and white people see the world differently. So if we're going to attain wealth, we have to attain wealth from a foundation of where we are, what we have gone through, and what that has led us to at this point. We can't attain wealth the same way they attain wealth because the rules of the game are just different. We can call them unfair. We can call them fair. I'm not going to call them anything but different. So I can apply the same strategies in action that they can, and get the same results. But These mental laws are universal. These mental laws are universal. What I'm saying though is when I think on success, I think on success a different way. When I focus on success, I focus on the ascertation of that success a different way. When I think on acquiring wealth, I have to think on the acquisition of that wealth a different way because of the experiences and because of the rules of the game for me are different than other cultures. But when I think on them, when I focus on them, I get them nonetheless because the law of what you think on grows is real for anybody. How I think on the things is what differentiates me from other cultures. That's why we have to have a black choice, because we think differently. We have different experiences. So I can't think on wealth the same way that other cultures think on wealth because the rules of the game are different for me. However, the laws of success, these mental laws, are universally applicable for whoever. So what you focus on is what you're going to get. Your thoughts are causes, your conditions are the effects of your thoughts. What are you thinking on daily, constantly, consistently? And if you want to know the status of your thoughts, if you want to know if you have a positive mental attitude, if you have positive thoughts, if you want to know that, look at your condition and see if you are surrounded with positivity. That's how you know. If I ever want to measure the status of my thoughts, all I need to do is look at my conditions. Am I a positive thinking person? Well, I look around my life, I'm surrounded by positivity. Everywhere I turn, people are positive and genuine and forward thinking and moving in the right direction. The conditions of my life are congruent with my thought process. Right? As my finances improving, because I'm starting to focus on building wealth, you better believe it. Or my relationships improving because I'm focused on thinking positive and controlling my thoughts and attracting the right people into my life, you better believe it. Your thoughts are the cause, your conditions are the effect. What effect are you causing in your life with your thought process? Again, what effect are you causing in your life with your current thought process? Are you getting the results that you want based on your thinking? Or if you say, I'm a positive person, but you look around and everywhere you look in your life, chaos exists, chances are you're not focused on peace. You're not focused on positivity. Somewhere in your thought process, there is chaos that you're focusing on, and you're attracting chaos into your life. You get what you focus on. What you think on grows. Your thoughts are the cause, your conditions are the effect. What conditions are you living in right now? What are the conditions that you're living in right now? And if you don't like those conditions, understand that you created those conditions with your thought process of 5 years ago, your thought process of 10 years ago. So the seeds that sprouted into the condition that you have right now, your 5 year ago thought process was the cause of your today's condition. Are you to own that? Your 5 year ago thought process gave birth to your conditions of today. Are you mature enough to own that? Because if you're not mature enough to own that, you're going to continue to think in the same pattern, and you're going to have the same conditions 5 years from now as you have today. See, my life changed when I realized what the Apostle Paul really meant when he said, ye are all gods under the Most High God. When I realized what that meant, if I am a God under the Most High God, what is God? God is the creator of all things. So what does that mean that I am by default? I am a creator of all things in my world. How do I create all things in my world? By my beliefs and thought process. If at any point I don't like what I have manifested in my life because of my beliefs and my thought process, what must I do? I must change my beliefs and my thought process, start to focus on something different so that I can have something different manifest in my life. Point blank, period. But guess what? If I never owned the fact that I am in this condition today because it was created by me 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and I'm blaming other people for my condition, then I'm missing a serious component. One of the main mental laws that we have to be governed by, I'm missing it because I'm blaming somebody else for my condition. And my condition is a direct result of what I've been thinking on for the last 5 years, 10 years, the way I believe the seeds that I've sown or the causes of this condition today was caused by my thoughts of a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. If you are not willing to own that right now, then you're missing it. And if you don't allow these mental laws to govern you, you will never change and get what you want out of this life. See, if you are in the middle of a storm right now, and chances are, it says that 25 people are viewing right now. Chances are, and you don't have to admit it if you want, if you don't want to, chances are out of 26 people who are watching right now, somebody is dead smack in the middle of a storm right now. The eye of the storm is upon them right now. I'm going to tell you this. If you are not willing to own the fact that you created that storm, chances are you'll never be able to extract the lesson that that storm has brought to you this today, so that you can use it to catapult your life to another level. If you're not willing to admit that you created that storm, if you're not willing to admit that to yourself today, you're not going to be able to extract the lesson that that storm is bringing, which was created by you, so that you can catapult your life to another level. These mental laws are true, man. These mental laws are governing. You created the storm, man. You created it. Man, I went through some storms so messed up, and I had to keep going through them because I was blaming other people for those storms, until I realized what the Apostle Paul meant. Ye are all gods under the Most High God. If my world is upside down, it's upside down because that's how I created it with my thought process. If my world is upside down, it's upside down because that's how I created it with my thought process. And in order for me to flip it right side up, I got to stop blaming other people. Because if I'm blaming other people, that means I'm expecting other people to flip my world right side up. But on the other hand, when I realized the part that I played in creating that storm in my life, and I roll my sleeves up and say, hey, you created this mess. Now it's time to roll your sleeves up, dig in, and go to work and dig yourself out of it. That's when transformation happens. The moment you stop blaming the wrong people for the storms in your life is when transformation happens. Ask me how I know. I didn't begin to transform until I took ownership of the world that I had created and realized. I woke up one morning and I said, I just flat out don't like this. I don't like where I don't like where I am. I don't like where I'm headed, and I'm fully to blame. I don't like where I am, and I don't like where I'm headed, and I'm fully to blame. So I said, what does that mean, God, that I'm a God under you? I'm a God under the Most High God. I'm a God, little g, under the Most High God, capital G. What does that mean? My son, that means you are fully responsible for the creation of your world. I've given you a template, and all you have to do is follow this template, and you can create your own world of abundance, your own world of peace. But one of the most profound things my mother ever did for me, she told me the story of the eagle and the storm. And that story says this: every time the eagle saw the storm approaching, he flew away from it. And as he would fly away from that storm, he had a conversation with himself. So the storm would approach, and the eagle go flying away from the storm. He flapped and he flew, he flapped and he flew. And he would say this to himself as he flew away from the storm: I'm one of God's fastest creations, land, air, or sea. No storm is ever fast enough to catch me. And he would get to away from the storm to where he could see the sun shining. And then he would rest, and he would build his nest, and he would chill, and he would enjoy life and live life to the fullest. But then moments later, months later, years later, another storm came approaching. And he would see the storm off in the distance. And he would go running from the storm. He flapped and he flew, he flapped and he flew, he flapped and he flew. And he said this to himself as he was getting away from the storm: I'm one of God's fastest creations, land, air, or sea. No storm will ever catch me. And he would get to a place where he'd see the sunshine, and then he would set up shop and build his nest. But what he realized is that every time he set up shop and built his nest, the storm came approaching faster and faster. See, the first time he got away from the storm, he was able to chill for a year or two before the storm came. The second time he flew away and got set up, he was able to set up his nest, and he was able to live in peace for about 6 months. Third time the storm came again, he flapped and he flew, he flapped and he flew. And he told himself, I'm one of God's fastest creations, land, air, or sea. No storm will ever catch me, right? But this time he built his nest, and before he got a chance to fully rest and recover from running from the storm was upon him again. And he realized at that moment, I will never be able to outpace the storm. The storm is always, if I keep running from the storm is always behind me. So he did two things that were very, very profound. And I don't know why this is in my spirit to tell the story today, but somebody must need to do these two things today. What are the two things that he did? Number one, he made an about face. And number two, he changed the narrative in his head. So this time when the storm came up on him, he no longer ran. He made an about face, and he faced the storm. And he flew right into it. He flapped and he flew, he flapped and he flew, and he flapped and he flew. But this time he changed the narrative. He's no longer one of God's fastest creations on land, air, or sea. He changed one word. He said, I'm one of God's bravest creations, land, air, or sea. No storm, no matter how dark, will ever scare me. And as he flapped and he flew right into the storm, he hit a turbulence, and the turbulence knocked him backwards a little bit. And that was his opportunity to tuck tail and run. But he said, nope, I'm flying right into the storm. So as the turbulence knocked him back, he regained his footing, and he said, you know what? I'm still approaching the storm. So he flapped and he flew, and he flapped and he flew right into the eye of the storm. He said, I'm one of God's bravest creations, land, air, or sea. No storm, no matter how dark, will ever scare me. But he hit another turbulence. The turbulence knocked him back a little bit further. And that was another time for him to tuck tail and run from the storm. But he said, you know what? I'm not running. I'm going to face this storm. And he continued to fly into the storm. And he flapped and he flew and he flapped and he flew and he flapped and he flew, and he kept that narrative in his head. I'm one of God's bravest creations, land, air, or sea. No storm, no matter how thunderous and loud, will ever scare me. And before he realized it, Every time he hit one of those turbulences elevated him. And before he realized it, he was flying over the storm, looking into the eye of the storm. Because he did two things. He made an about face, stopped running from the storm. And then he changed the narrative in his head. He changed his thought process. And before he got to the most dangerous part of the storm, he was elevated above it. And now he's looking down into the storm. Somebody today needs to do an about face and stop running from the storm. Because as you continue to run from the storm is always behind you. The storm is always behind you. Sometimes when those storms that you created in your life, by the way, rolling up on you, sometimes you have to batten down the hatches. And like Jefferson said, batten down the hatches and know that this too shall pass. Right? See, we created these storms in our lives by thought processes that weren't so positive years ago. Every thought is a seed. And every time you allow those thoughts to come out of your mouth, then you are sowing those seeds. And then when you continue to think on those thoughts and speak on those thoughts, you are nurturing those seeds. And guess what? If those seeds are negative, they will eventually create a harvest of negativity in your life. Period. Whatsoever a man soweth, that so he will reap. That so she will reap. If you are sowing negativity, eventually that seed that you sowing is going to produce a harvest of negativity in your life, aka a storm. But when you are smart enough and you understand that I have to take full responsibility for this storm, I have to learn the lessons from this storm that I created. Even if that lesson is, I got to change my thought process so that I start creating storms and harvests of positivity in my life, then you got to bear it and you got to take responsibility. You got to own that, right? And then the other last thing I'm going to say about the storm, we're coming to a close, is understand this, that even on the stormiest and rainiest of days in your life, I don't care how bad it's storming. I don't care. You know how those storms get so bad that the rain is coming down sideways, right? I don't care how bad the storm gets. On the rainiest, the stormiest, the most thunderous, the most lightning-filled days, I want you to always know that the sun still shines. See, sometimes we focus on the storm as if the source has abandoned us. On the rainiest and stormiest of days, the sun still shines. We just can't see it, but it's there. So stop creating the storms in your life that's separating you from the source, right? Stop sowing seeds of negativity by the things that you believe and the things that you allow to come out of your mouth. These mental laws govern the unseen. Same way physical laws govern the physical realm. The laws of speed and acceleration, the laws of gravity, all that governs the physical realm. Well, everything that has ever been created is created 3 times, once in the mind, once on paper, then once in reality. What are you creating? What does the world look like that you're creating in your mind every day? Is it a world filled with peace, abundance, happiness, joy, pleasant relationships and friendships, or is it a world of chaos? Because you can't see past the hurt. You can't see past your shortcomings. You can't see past your brokenness to see that even in your broken state, in fact, because of your broken state, you're still capable of doing great things. You're still capable of doing great things. See, I was in a state in my life where I could not see past the brokenness within me. And I thought because I was broken, that meant that I couldn't achieve. But we're all broken. That's today's quote. We are all a little broken. But the last time I checked, broken crayons still color. We are all a little broken. But we're thinking that in spite of the brokenness, we're going to be great. I'm telling you, because of the brokenness, you're going to be great. But you got to get these mental laws to become a part of you. And these got to be the laws that govern your thought process. These are the laws that got to govern everything that you are and every part of your being. These are the laws that govern your actions. And then when people ask you, man, how did you become so successful? It's I can't really tell you. I can't really put a finger on it because it's not a tangible thing. See, when people want to know how you became successful, they're looking for a tangible thing. It's not tangible, it's intangible. I took some laws that God has put into the universe to govern success and failure. And when I apply these laws successfully, then I have success. If I neglect these laws, then I have chaos and negativity and I have failure in my life. What you think on grows. As a man thinketh, so is he. Or the way I say it is you get what you focus on. And then the law of cause and effect says, my thoughts are the cause, my conditions are the effect. What are my conditions today? And own the fact that I caused them. With the way I was thinking last year, with the way I was thinking 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. See, I like to grow my own food. I like to garden. And some things you plant in the ground, some seeds you plant in the ground, and you see them manifest right away. See, there's an ancient strain of bamboo that when you put it in the ground, it literally does not show a shoot for about 4 or 5 years. But what's happening as it's in the ground? See, somebody would think that thing is a dud seed or that seed ain't growing. But the way this particular shoot of bamboo works is that seed is in the ground and it's growing a massive root system. And then it finally pops up its head just a little bit. And then it starts taking in sunlight and it continues to develop this massive root system. The reason it has to develop a massive root system before it starts to grow upward is because it grows so fast that you literally can hear it growing. Some of you guys, because of the things that you've been through in your life, have developed a massive root system. And all you need to do is get these mental laws in you, and you're going to grow so freaking fast, it's going to be unbelievable that they're going to call you an overnight success. But you're going to know better. It wasn't overnight. It was because of the hell that I went through, and I kept persevering, that I was able to develop a massive root system to support this rapid growth. So guys, it is 8 o'clock. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Today's show sponsor, which I forgot to even give you, Project 1000. If you want to build wealth with us, then I want you to comment Project 1000 below. And I'm just going to get you some information that will help you understand how we build wealth. Right? We want to put you in a business of your own because businesses allows you tax deductions. You can write off your lifestyle. We want you to take that money that you get back from Uncle Sam and writing off your lifestyle, pay off your debt. Then we want you to get that debt paid off so that you free up the cash that you need to start investing so that you can build generational wealth. So you can go to hcortezthornton.com, click on the Project 1000 tab at the top, or you can just comment Project 1000 and I'll inbox you some information. Today's book excerpt was brought to you by Solid Foundation Athletic Academy. If you have young athletes in the St. Louis area, 4th grade or higher, ready to take their training to another level, go to solidfoundationathletics.com. So I'm your man, H Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the working class. You've been tuning into Talking Money in the Morning Live. So until I talk to you tomorrow, as we continue our series on mental laws, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. Peace out, people.